Hey, it's Nay, and welcome back to Nay's Little Garden and Home. So, today is a busy day. It's almost lunchtime, and I feel like I have so much to do. So, I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that I've started recently and how they're going so far. Basically, we're gonna talk a lot about seed starting. I'm also gonna do another video today because I'm gonna start more peppers for a bunch of different reasons I'll get into in that video. But I'm gonna just pre-warn you from now. Grab you a little drink, a little snack, something. I'm over here drinking some tea. I have some Sun Chips. I also have a Pop-Tart. So we're gonna hop, skip, jump right into it. Let's talk about this first. This irks me a lot, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Oh, actually, as I'm saying that might be something sprouting out of this. This is, I have lettuce here. I might have started earlier than this, but outside of the lettuce that I have already chopped once for salad, this, what I'm about to show you, is one of the oldest things. Oh no, I'm bugging. No, it's not. Scratch what I just said. This is a January start, and I have nothing in here yet. I'm not gonna give up completely on this, but I feel like I do need to mention that it is stressing me out a little bit. Actually, what is that? Is that it popping up? I don't know, guys. This is, I have lemon basil, broadleaf sage, purple ruffle basil, stevia, and more purple ruffle basil. So this is what I'm working with. I'm looking, actually, now I have my face all up in here. I feel like I see something that is attempting to sprout from the broadleaf sage, and that I see some purple in this purple ruffle basil on this second one. So hopefully those are actually real things that are coming to fruition. Things are going to be dripping because I just watered everything. But this is one of the most disappointing things ever. Now, as I say that, I have something I started from December. Guys, it's February 10th when I'm recording this. Keep that in mind. I started this December 12th, and we are just getting sprouts, which is kind of intense to me, because that means we are working with over 2 months of sitting down doing nothing. This is the rosemary, which is still doing nothing, but the Italian basil, we're getting something going on here. I'm gonna show you. So you see there's 2 coming up in here and 1 so far coming up in there. And you see that date? Huh? This is kind of why I struggle with very exacting start dates. When people are like, oh, you have to start, no, you don't want to start a week or before, a week after, or whatever. I'm telling you, you got to start within 6 to 8 weeks. That's it. You just don't know how seeds are going to act. And some of them act like they don't have any dang sense. I'm so serious. So that's that. Because I almost was going to toss that. But now we have something growing. I did purchase basil from the organic basil from the grocery store, like in a soil pot. She's doing okay. She's not doing okay. She's doing good. But I want to really try and attempt to grow some of my own from seed. And so that's what I've been trying to do. This lemon basil is irking me a lot because I don't understand why I'm not seeing it. But now that I'm seeing that it's taking basil 2 months to sprout from this, I'm not going to even get even remotely stressed about this other green stock 6 cell until maybe end of March. We might look back on this because this one is from the end of January. Something and let me know, guys, because I feel like I need to start separating this, but I don't see any roots yet even peeking through anything, like the bottom trying to get to water. So I don't want to rush this. But this is my oregano and my thyme. Look at the bushel of starts. Now, I definitely have at least one set of true leaves on everything in here. So I feel like I should separate it, but I do want to know, I separated the marjoram, and some of them are doing really well, and then the other ones died. So I'm trying to figure out, are these type of things roots that sensitive, or maybe I just did something wrong? That's where we're kind of working with it. I have one pepper thing in here. This is not going to stay here. Like I said, today I'm also going to start more peppers. I'm going to move that to there so that will go back on, that will go onto a heat mat. The other thing I'm going to show you guys, I'll show you the lettuces really quick. So these I've already cut from, which is really good, awesome to do. I made a delicious chicken and mashed potatoes, and then we had little salads next to it. So that was really cool. I don't remember the variety, but it's supposed to be purple. Just know that. Let's do this one next. I'm gonna give this a couple more days, and then I'm gonna snip the two best looking ones. This is we started these together, Romanesco Italia cauliflower and purple sprouting broccoli. This is what we started, 2-2. So we're looking at 8 days ago, and this is what we have. Yes, I have this little trap on here, and the little insect them. Anyway, I keep hearing about mosquito bits, but actually, we already have a root reaching down from this. So yeah, I'm gonna probably separate some and do something unnecessary, like a pot more than I need. I think I've only allotted about 5 to 8. I think I've only allotted about 6 to 8 square feet to my cauliflower, broccoli, all of that stuff. But it's fine. Like I said, I have other spaces I can put it in. That's not on my property, or I can give it away. The other thing that I started on the same day is this Amazing Taste cauliflower, and this looks like really good germination here as well. And then I'm gonna uppot these, but this sooner than the other ones, because in this is a pepper, which is a warm weather crop, and then the other 3 are cool weather because it's a hybrid broccoli green magic. But this also had really good germination. I have to look up and see, is it worth it for me to even try and uppot them, like to separate them, or if I should just snip it, because this is guaranteeing me 3 starting for sure, 3 here, and then I guess I didn't expect such good sprouting, so I'm very happy with myself. One thing that I can say for sure is last year I overwatered, so I got like a root rot or whatever from overwatering, and then I never let the tops dry out, and I didn't get these sticky traps till later on, so the bugs flying about were very intense. And I had more sticky traps from last year, so I quickly put them in there, and I find I have a lot less issues. And that, so far, it's the beginning of the year, but I found like quite quickly I was having those issues. So I'm happy about that. Those are looking fabulous. I hope this will be the year I grow my first big head of broccoli, big head of cauliflower. More Than Farmers is one of my favorite gardening channels, right? And the stuff that they chop off and show you looks like something you could only really purchase in store. They are big, beautiful. It's honestly very intense when you look at their harvest. And I'm trying to have stuff like that because the point of a lot of this, right? You want to try to store your harvest. You don't want to have a gluttony for, let's say, 5-6 months. And then the other 5-6 months, obviously you can go to the store. Ignore the store for a second. But the other 5 to 6 months, you're hungry, right? You want to be able to store stuff. And the bigger it looks like the produce, the longer it would store. The smaller the produce, the less time it's going to store. Atypically is what you're having. Work with that. Now I'm gonna go grab the pepper. This is my first pepper sprouts of 2026. All right, so this is a new tray that I've filled with soil. I moved that other pepper that I said I was gonna move over here. I did go ahead and buy seed starting mix. I know, am I really a gardener? Because I got the potting soil and things are sprouting from it. But the sheer amount of wood, like what looks to be like wood chips in there. Okay, disclaimer. Because I feel like no matter what type of hobbies or things you're trying to get into, there's always people that are going to try to incite fear in you. You can grow from these things that have wood chips in them. It's okay. Like, it's gonna grow, it's gonna make it a little more difficult, but it might also create a stronger plant. Like, whatever. Like, you don't need to have the most optimal soil and the most optimal light and the most optimal this container to grow it in. You really don't. But the more optimal, obviously, the more likely you are to have more starts. I went and bought seed starting mix for a couple reasons. One, I just don't have the energy and time right now to go get this cocoa core block, pour hot water, cover it for 2-3 hours to really let it try to kill off the fungus gnats, and then to go add peat moss. I have to go look for my the perlite and vermiculite, mix that all up in there, and then go ahead and do that. Like, it's a process, which is not bad, and you can really save a lot of money. Because I feel like I did use a lot of perlite and vermiculite last year, but that bag from last year would still be able to do stuff this year. I just don't want people to feel like the only way I can grow is if I do it 100% in the way people tell me to. That's not the case. I feel like a lot of gardeners, a lot of the good gardeners at least, are not trying to instill fear in you. They're just trying to show you the best practices. But the truth of the matter is you can do whatever you can use whatever you can get your hands on and go from there, okay? Plants want to grow. So, yeah. That's that. I don't know if you saw, I just poked my fingers, just lightly pressed down as if I was going to top it with soil. So that's where the seeds will go. Anyway, let's talk about my first sprout of 2026 pertaining to my peppers. It was a Marconi red pepper. I started this on tube 2 as well. And it's not, so this is the first one where you actually are going to see the leaves, but there are little ones whose backs are arched, like they're coming out of it. So by the end of today or even into tomorrow, they're gonna probably be out as well. This is one of the, I have only like 2 or 3 domes that I know where they are right now. So those are the ones covering my peppers. Some of them are out. So I just moved the dome that was covering this to another, so 2 6 cells can fit underneath the dome. So I moved that to cover something else to try to help speed up the process. I started these 2-2, remember I said it's 2-10, 8 days. That's a pretty quick germination rate. Do you see the pepper? You see her? Hi Marconi, how you doing, sis? And then I want you to see there's 2 arched into the soil right there, and then there's 1 arched into the soil right here. So that is all very exciting news for me. I do want to say I've been underwatering, and I'm trying to get better about that. I said that earlier, I was overwatering last year. This year, I've been underwatering, and I'm trying to get into like a little bit more of watering without, I just don't want them to die from overwatering. Like a lot of them, I feel like my earlier ones did, because I was learning, right? But, and what I find very important, so I don't have to be beefing. And when I said my first pepper, I meant my first sweet pepper. I have spicy peppers that I really should show you those ones, but we'll do another video. This video is gonna be forever long. This is my first sweet pepper sprout. You want to keep the soil moist for peppers because getting the seed off of the leaf is so aggy. It's definitely feasible. But that one, you see, I don't even have to touch that one. That makes me very happy. So because I beefed with some of my spicy pepper seeds to get the little seed shell off of the leaf, and it's just a lot. You gotta use your saliva, you gotta let it sit for a little bit, let the enzymes break down, try to slowly and gently pluck it off. Like I also ruined a couple of my spicy pepper starts from trying to gently pull it off and pulled out the whole plant. Insane. So that's it. Actually, let me just go get those peppers real quick so you can see. And I started those back in January, and those were more like my testers because people were like, oh my gosh, it takes spicy peppers longer to sprout. And I can say it did in fact take those peppers forever to start. So these are all the same. Oh, they're dripping because I watered everything. This is the chocolate hand grenade. This has had the best or the most successful growth rate so far. And they're short and stocky to me. Like this one is crazy how thick the stem has been getting. I started these the 1st of January. So there's this one. So this is more than 4 weeks, like a little bit more than a month, right? Because it's the 10th. Here, this is the stockiest one. Look at this, how beautiful this is. This one's in the middle of those two. And this is a month of grow. Now, I am not negating anything anybody is saying on YouTube. For my zone, in zone 6, putting something like this out, yes, I did subtract a couple weeks from the growing. Like, let's just say, right, I'm just saying, like, so if it took me almost 3 weeks for this to sprout, and it's the 10th. So if this took almost 3 weeks to sprout, we didn't see this at the end of January. So let's say this is only about 2 weeks of growth, right? A little under 2 weeks maybe of growth. I don't think always, this is what I'm saying about this whole start from this exact time point, right? People are saying, okay, about 8 weeks from before your last frost, start these. If it takes your plants 2 to 3 weeks, your pepper plants to sprout, 2 to 3 weeks from 8 weeks, you're starting with about 4 to 5 weeks of actual growth. And this is about 2 weeks. I just think that it's okay to have a bit of a bigger plants, and plant transplant shock sure is real for sure, but these type of size, you're not gonna do as much as I needed to do to make sure I get harvest, because I started my plants so early last year. I'm talking about this type of early, right? And I had really good harvests, like a really good harvest. I'm not gonna start my tomatoes. My tomatoes got massive, and some of them definitely didn't make it because they got so massive and the thing was small. But my peppers were never an issue. So that's something to keep in mind. Just maybe start a couple things early, or start a couple of your peppers early or whatever. Start a couple of your tomatoes early. Not at the same time, but early for whatever the time period you would give them, and see what happens, because you might shock yourself how early you might start seeing stuff popping up in your garden because you started early. I also think that not everything has to be out in your garden or have to get the biggest that it could be. So let's say, for example, right, you're growing a pepper plant and you grow 6 of those pepper plants, right? Maybe you only needed 4 to go out into your garden, and you kept 2 in your house, and you just got a little bit of the bigger, like the quart, I think it's called. There's like I think 6 1 quarts at Walmart. They're super cheap, like plastic, but I'm just saying, for like $8 or something. and you could grow a smaller pepper in that quart. Or you can go get the 1 gallon grow bag and grow that in your house. And the plant is not gonna grow very big because it doesn't have a lot of soil to work with, but a lot of plants really could, pepper plants could grow within that small of a medium, right? And give you a few peppers significantly earlier than the other ones. Because I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do as well. Like, I want to store some stuff, of course, away for a longer use, but also have a couple things continually growing, because I think that would benefit, right? When it comes to fresh things, how much you could do. I'm looking at these micro dwarf tomatoes, and there's some that are just very popular, like the Tiny Tim and those type of things, and I might grow those too. But I want to also look at the micro dwarfs that are not as popular to try and grow in my house over the winter to be able to pluck, because now that I have this tent, I might as well use it, you know, and then I could use 1 shelf as opposed to the like 8 I'm gonna be using for this grow season. But let me know what you guys think of that. Do you feel like every single plant that you have needs to be the biggest it has to yield you the biggest, or is there a balance for you where you feel like some you do want to pull earlier? Because I know that some people say, oh, you might have some plants, even if you go buy at your greenhouse, right, later on, and they'll have flowers on it, and they're like, oh, pick off the flowers so that the plant will grow up. I would advocate for that as well, right? Because you want the plant to grow even bigger to be able to handle bigger stuff, like bigger produce on it. However, leaving 1 or 2 of them smaller with the flowers would net you produce faster. So for me, it's that balance. Majority of my garden would in fact be letting things grow out for as long as possible, then let them set their fruit, but a few of them to net me sooner. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this whole video. Let me know how your seed starting is going. Have you even seed started? Obviously, I don't have any update on my winter sowing. There's still snow on my ground, although it's definitely melting, but there's still snow on my ground. So I don't think there's gonna really be a winter sowing update until like end of March, maybe even beginning of April. Thank you for watching this whole video. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye.